I'm Dr. William Davis, author of the Wheat Belly and Undoctored books. Over the years, people have often asked me, how did you come to the conclusions that you advocate in your books? Well, to explain, I have to go back 25 years. That's when I was practicing as an interventional cardiologist, and I was attending the American College of Cardiology meetings in Atlanta, where there were lectures and demonstrations for new devices and those kinds of things. Well, one of the lectures was given by Dr. Dean Ornish. Some of you may recognize that name. He's a physician who advocates a super low-fat vegetarian diet. No animal products, no animal fats, no butter, just vegetables, fruit, and whole grains. Well, he claims to have reversed heart disease and in his lifestyle heart trial. That's another story, but he never did reverse heart disease. He misinterpreted the data. And, of course, heart disease did not come to a halt in a handful of participants in his study. They continued to have angina, need for procedures, heart attacks, etc. So he did not reverse heart disease. Nonetheless, I took him at his word at the start, and I thought I'd give this a try. So I put myself on the Ornish diet, and I eliminated all animal products, no butter, no olive oil, just vegetables, fruits, and whole grains. I gained 30 pounds. My triglycerides went to 390. My HDL, the good value, dropped to 27, which is a high-risk level. I developed oodles of small LDL particles, the stuff that causes heart disease, not LDL cholesterol like Big Pharma says, because they make money with their statin drugs, their silly statin drugs. I became a type 2 diabetic with fasting blood sugars in the 160 range. I had irritable bowel syndrome, eczema. I was tired all the time, and I was hungry all the time. And this all happened even though I was jogging 3, 4, 5 or more miles several times a week. I called Dr. Ornish. I explained this to him, and he accused me of not doing the diet right. He said, "You're eating too much white flour products." And I said, "No, I actually eat no white flour products." Well, he had no explanation, of course. So I stopped doing the silly diet, and all of it went away. I'm no longer diabetic. My HDL is 94. My triglycerides, last I checked, are 47. My blood pressure is normal, etc. But it was that experience with the Ornish diet was a vivid illustration of how awful health can get if you do the wrong diet. Now, the ideas I advocate come from more than my own personal experience, but that personal experience started my journey in trying to understand diet. Now, the other mistake I made was, of course, to load my diet up with whole grains. Huge mistake for a long list of reasons. That's why there's 7 Wheat Belly books. But among the reasons are the gliadin protein of wheat is partially digested to opioid peptides that bind to the opioid receptors of the human brain, and they trigger appetite. That's why people who consume grains are always hungry. That's why people with a genetic predisposition towards bulimia or binge eating disorder get 24-hour-a-day food obsessions. So that's the gliadin protein of wheat. There's wheat germ agglutinin that's completely indigestible, and it goes through the gastrointestinal tract intact, never gets digested at all. But in its passage through the gastrointestinal tract, it is very destructive. It irritates and inflames the gastrointestinal lining. It blocks gallbladder function. It blocks the action of pancreatic enzymes. And of course, there's amylopectin A. That's the carbohydrate, the complex carbohydrate of wheat and grains that we're told are better than sugar. No, they're not. They actually raise blood sugar higher than table sugar. So that's why people who consume a lot of grains, weigh their diets heavily in grains, become type 2 diabetics and gain weight, because they generate insulin resistance. So these are the mistakes I made, among the mistakes I made, but that started to make me wonder, what in the world is it wrong? If you would think eating vegetables, fruits, and whole grains would be healthy, right? No, it's terrible. I learned that lesson the hard way. I've since done this now many thousands, hundreds of thousands of times, and I see the astounding results of not eating low fat, of not eating whole grains, okay, of including fats and oils and meats and butter and things like that. So that was how I began my journey, and the lessons were refined over time. Now, the next lesson I learned was that you could regress heart disease. I'll tackle that in another video.